Good morning, students. Today we're going to look at the Rogerian argument and Unit 3. If you're at your content page, you can look at Unit 3 at the top here. Will bring us to this unit here. I do want to mention to you that I did add a page on how to infer tone, which is now page 6. And I added a couple pages to the Rogerian arguments, which starts on page 30. Let's go ahead and go over the essay first. I give you a good little explanation of it starting here. Oh, actually, let's go ahead and it says to look at page 21. So let's go ahead and see, I need to fix it now. Now it's page 22. So let's start there. In this essay, we are analyzing the writing to discover the core values that motivate the writer's viewpoint. The essay itself is not an argument. It's also not a rhetorical analysis. So we're not, peeling back the creative process and trying to understand that. No, this is, as I say it here, it's more of a straightforward analysis. Mostly this essay reminds me of the Rogerian method because the beginning of the Rogerian method involves being able to objectively reflect the point of view and reasoning from a perspective you disagree with. In this type of assignment, we're going to focus more on understanding than we are on persuasion. And let's go ahead and take a quick minute before we go any further to look at the prompt. No, this presentation isn't really about the prompt, but this is for my students, and I want to show you the just a little insight on the prompt itself, or to provide that. Let's go to assessments, go to essay 3. There we go. So the brief explanation for this would be provided here. Excuse me. In 5 pages, you want to find a text that espouses a political view that you deeply disagree with. You want to look for the texts that demonstrate goodwill. The writer is, meaning that the writer is sincere in trying to explain their ideas, and intelligence. You want to look for examples that are logical and where the evidence is reasonable. Note that while you could, for example, analyze the hateful rantings from a racist organization, that would not be a writer that would be likely to understanding a rebuttal. So in this case, we're going to not focus on an individual like that or a group like that. We do not want to require anyone to read views that are hurtful to them. So that's another reason why you are in no way being asked to look at hate speech here or politically hateful speech. We also do not want to require. Okay, sorry, I just read that part. For this assignment, students are not attempting to explain their position or to persuade the author. So that's why what I said in the lecture that it's not persuasive. It's not meant to be persuasive. Instead, we are analyzing the writing to discover the core values that motivate the writer's viewpoint. And that, I think, probably best encapsulates the whole thing. This is a good faith attempt to understand how someone you love and respect, like, say, for example, like an aunt or an uncle, who can sincerely believe something that you think is obviously wrong. So, to explore a text, like, for example, like a good example of like a text would be like a speech, like a political speech. Explore a text that offers a point of view that differs from your own on a current social or political issue. You want to analyze the values present and demonstrate how those values shape the author's argument. So think back to essay one, right? In essay one, we're analyzing our own values, right? In the next essay, we're looking at, so this would be essay two, you were looking at the values of a particular group. Okay, so here we're going to make it just slightly tougher, but again, you can see how it's in this vein of logical thought here. So now we're going to look at a controversial group, maybe one that, like the prompt says, you disagree with, right? You're going to look at an idea or a speech that you disagree with, but we're going to assess the values present and demonstrate how those values shape the author's argument. So we're not going to make an argument about what they say or how they say it. That would be rhetorical. But it's, like I said, more like an objective explanation of, as it says here, what are their values? What do they value? And you want to show how those values shape the argument. How do values shape the argument? So what I would do in my paper is I would look for some of these different values. I would find a speech, find a person, find a speech, which are very easy to do online. Look for the transcript of the speech, so you have the text. And then when you're looking in there, look for the values that you see, right? And then think about, I would say, organizing your paper around some of these different values or some of these different things that this group or this person thinks is important. All right, so you go ahead and take a look at the rest of it, but I hope that gives you a good little brief introduction to essay 3. And I said I was going to do Rogerian. I'm going to do it in the next video because this ended up being all about how to approach essay 3. So we'll stop there on essay 3, and I'll pick up with Rogerian argument on the next one.